Hi, you guys. Welcome back to another episode of From the Heart. I'm your host, Chloe Trca, and I am here with my friend Taylor. Taylor, say hi.
Hi guys, Chloe, thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on. I cannot wait to pick your brain. I have seen you on TikTok for so long. Like, it's been years, and I'm just obsessed. And I've always known, like, I need to talk to her. I need to be friends with her. Like, I feel like we're very similar, like, vibes. And I think this conversation is going to be so much fun. So for those of my listeners who maybe don't know who you are, do you want to give us like a little breakdown? Give us the info on Taycrums.
Okay, so hi guys, my name is Taylor. I am also a Midwest girly like Chloe. We're both from
Yes.
the Midwest. I graduated high school in 2016, so I just turned 26. I'm a Libra too. It was just my birthday, and I started doing social media. Honestly, like it started really way back, like YouTube era. Okay, like Juicy Star '07. I'm talking like Mac Barbie '07. Okay, like I'm here for the Aspen Ovard, like whatever she's having, like way back in the day. I would watch all those YouTubers and stuff, and I always was like, I want to be a YouTuber. Like I knew that from a young age. I wanted to like make videos because
Love
I
that.
was like, a little, like I was like a only child. Like my sister is 13 years older than me, so
Okay.
we didn't really like hang out much because by the time I was 5 years old, she was out of the house, like in
Yeah.
college. So I kind of was an only child. I had divorced parents, so like I was just hanging out by myself most of the time, and I would talk to myself constantly.
Yeah.
And oh my God, like I want to make YouTube videos because I'll have someone to talk to, like because I'm like so like by myself at home. And so I always knew that I wanted to do that. And I kind of had been like working at it for a few years, like probably like 5 or 6 years, honestly, before TikTok obviously
Yeah.
came out in
Yeah.
2020. And then 2022, I had one video kind of go viral. It got like it was the stupidest video. It's always the stupidest video ever.
Mine too. Mine too. Has nothing to do with the content I post nowadays.
What was your like first like viral video?
Viral, mine was like a filter. You know, like there was like filters that you could use, and it was like a laser, okay, and it would cut things. So I like cut my hair to see what it would look like as a bob, and so it was about like this length, and everyone was going crazy and was like, cut your hair," and I was like, because I also was like posting on socials before this, but had never had like a break, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I have never gotten like even a tenth of the views I was getting. I was mind blown. I'm like, over my hair? I was like, what? I don't even know how to do my hair.
My first video too is about my hair.
No way.
Blow drying my hair with like a Revlon brush.
Yeah.
It got like I don't know, it maybe has like 12 million views now.
Oh
Like
my
it's
gosh.
stupid. But that was like the first video that
That's
happened.
so funny.
Both of us lose our hair. But that was the first video back in like 2022. And then
Yeah.
2023 is when things really picked up at the beginning of the year. It was insane. Um, I think that I gained like 200,000 followers in 6 weeks.
Oh my gosh, yours was like fast. Well, I remember you when you were like on your come up. Like, I don't think you had too many followers when I first saw your videos, and I remember seeing your growth. I'm like, this girl is popping off right now. Like, it was video after video.
It was really crazy. And then it just completely stopped.
Yeah, I know.
Like
The plateau is like the most frustrating thing as a creator because it's like I changed nothing. Like, what's going on?
But so that's kind of yeah, it was like in the beginning of 2023. I really like gained a bunch of followers super quickly, had like a lot of videos, doing well at
Mhm.
that time. And then I was like, oh my God, like I just remember like I was like and I was going through like a really hard time in like 2022. And I was just like really struggling with like I felt like I was working so hard and nothing was paying off. I felt like a loser. I was like I won't get all into everything, but I was just like I felt like a loser and like that my parents were disappointed in me and it's like I've been working so hard and like nothing is showing for it in my life and I felt like I was like oh my God, like this is what I've wanted for years
Yeah.
and years and years now, and it's like finally happening, like oh my goodness, like I couldn't believe it. And then I just kept posting every single day, and then I ended up quitting my corporate job
Yeah.
November. It was like a year ago in 2 days. It'll be a year. It was
November
November.
1st.
Yeah.
I remember seeing you post that too. Like I was an avid follower when I say like I was in deep. Like I was excited for you. I remember it all. Like,
Yeah.
that's so exciting.
Really like a year ago, and because I just ended up making I liked my job. I don't mind, like I never I remember I had like a meeting with like a brand or what's it called, like a management agency, and they were
Yeah.
like, do you ever consider quitting your job? This is like when I was popping off, like
Yeah.
when I was getting I would literally wake up in the morning 10,000 new followers. I'm like overnight. I was like,
It was
what?
like unreal, right? Like unbelievable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was so crazy. But then yeah, that come down like hits really hard.
Hmm.
Anyways, I was like on a call with like a talent manager or whatever, and she
Yeah.
was like, "You ever quit your corporate job?" And I was like, "No, like I really don't want to, like, cause like I like working. I didn't mind working, but it was just like I got my corporate job when like it was COVID. Like I graduated 2020 from
Mhm.
college, so it was like COVID. I was like working at a golf course and they like called me randomly. I had applied like months ago and they called me and they were like, "Hey, I know you applied months ago, but like we want to give you this job." And I was like, "Yeah, I don't know what the job is, just give it to me." I didn't have a
Yeah,
job. Like I was like, and so that's why I took the job. So it wasn't really something that I like it wasn't really leading me to it wasn't something that was super like specific and I was super into, but I
yeah.
liked it. It was great. I loved working there and everything like that. But that's why I did end up quitting. So it was kind of like just like I was like, why am I wasting 40 hours of my week when I could be putting everything into,
Yeah. Yeah.
everything.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, that's really like at that age too. I feel like it's so hard because you do out of college. I think a lot of people forget because I went to school and my like social media growth was like right at the end. So I was kind of fortunate where I did have to go into the workforce because I was already making an income that I could live off of. And I was like, okay, I want to pour into this. Like school was taking up my time. And that was like kind of like the decision of being like, why do I spend so much time studying if it's really not applying to like what I want to do essentially? So I've been there, but it's like a really scary decision and it's really hard because there's so many unknowns and like we're so young and we have so many like dreams, goals, ambitions. It's like, do we want to go the fulfilling route? Do we want to go like the logical route? And like, I don't know if you had a hard time, but like expressing that decision to like family and friends, it's like, oh, where are you going to school or where are you going to work after school? And I was like, oh, like I'm just doing what I'm doing. Like, I think probably now it's a little more like understood, but I think like the older generation like doesn't understand you can make a career out of like social media and literally showing your life. Like, did you run into any like people who just didn't understand?
Honestly, like my parents, like my parents don't really know TikTok or like nothing like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
So like they didn't really understand, but they've known like I have been saying since I was like in high school, like I'm gonna be YouTube famous. Like that's why I would be like, I'm gonna be a YouTuber, like I'm gonna be a YouTuber. Like so like they know that like and
yeah.
I would
That's a dream.
do that all the time. I was like, you guys, like I'm not even gonna ever have a job. Like I'm just gonna be a YouTuber. Like you guys watch. Like I would be like, you guys watch. I remember I told my mom when I moved I took like this big like risk when I lived in my parents' house like during college. I didn't go away to college. I was like a commuter. I went to like a commuter school, so I never really got that experience. So I was living at home in college, and I took this big risk and I got an apartment because I was like, I have to do something. Like I want to make videos, and like I was making videos at my parents' house, but obviously
Yeah.
I know
Oh,
feeling like you
I went through that too. Yep. Yep.
to make videos, and I bought an apartment even though I could not afford it literally at all. And I was like, Mom, I remember I was moving out and I was like, Mom, the end of this lease, I'm gonna be making money from social media. Like you watch. And she was like, ha ha, bye. Like, get out of here. She was like,
Yeah.
yeah, sure, Taylor. Like, yeah, okay. Like, and I was like, and literally the last month of my lease, I was so scared. Like because I was also like running out of money. Like when I was like, like I like had no money. Like because I was like, and that's why I felt like a failure because I was like, wow, I moved into this apartment and it's 6 months in and I have 0 followers. Like, way to go,
Yeah.
Taylor. You really did it, girl. But the last month of my lease is when all that popped off. And
Wow.
my first like brand deal I got was like literally 2 weeks before my lease was up. And I was like, oh, it was literally like God. Like, I don't know. Like I
Yeah.
was like, maybe wait to like the last second to do
Yeah.
that. But so that was crazy. And then but my dad literally when I remember like last August probably was when I was like, wait, I can quit my job. I was like, wait, like the math
Yeah.
is math, like I can quit. And I called my dad and I was like, dude, like I think I'm gonna quit my job. And he was like, do it. He was
Oh,
like, I
I
don't
love that they're supportive. I
yeah, he
love
was like, yeah, like that makes sense. Like quit. And I was like, wait, like period. And like my mom
that.
was like, yeah, like, quit.
Good. I'm so happy because I have a supportive family too. Like my parents are so supportive. They're very like entrepreneurial, like do your thing, work for yourself, what all that. But it's like the outside world, I think being like, I don't know, so sheltered in the Midwest. I don't know if Michigan's different than Iowa, but like it was a lot of like family friends and they were like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, just watch. I'm like, just wait, just watch. Like, I'm gonna live out my dreams. Like, don't discredit what I'm doing. Like, it might not seem like work, but it's still work and I can still provide. And I'm like, oh, I just wish people understood.
I usually just like don't like if someone like when people like now when people like I see people from years ago and they're like, hey, like what are you up to? I'm like, oh, I'm just hanging out. Like nothing. Like I never like I'm like a TikToker. Like I
Yeah,
post like
I
I
know.
just avoid it, talking about it at all times. So I don't know if like I don't know if people are like, oh, what's Taylor? Like I don't care what they say honestly. Like I don't
Yeah, I mean, you shouldn't. You shouldn't really at all. I love that.
I try to avoid the topic though if anyone brings it up. I'm
I
like, oh, I
know
just
people.
around. Like,
Yeah, I just do my thing. I live my life. No, I know my like leading line. I'm like, oh, I'm like a fitness coach. I'm like, that's like the smallest percentage of my job. Like I have one like one-on-one client and I have like a fitness app, but I'm like, I do 95% of my other work has to do with like social media, but I'm like, I don't even want to explain that. Like,
yeah, the fitness, that's such a good, easy
yeah.
one.
They're like, oh, that's cool. I'm like, yeah, I love it. It's my passion.
It's good that you have that. Yeah, I need to come up with like a one-liner. One time a guy came up to me at the gym and was like, "What do you do for work?" And I was like, I was like,
Next question.
yeah, I need to come up with something like that.
That's so funny. I love it. I love it. We run into the same problems. I feel like that's a very common thing amongst like creators and people who work in social media because it's like it's still so new. I'm like it's a very like YouTube's been around, but I'm like TikTok like when it started is when I hopped on. Like 2020 is like the beginning of mine, but I'm like that's not even 5 years ago. Like we're not even to the 5 year mark of it. So it's crazy. But anyway, okay, I want to know all about because when I found you, it was through your like 3:30 a.m., right? It was 3:30. Yeah. Okay. Where did that even like become inspired? Because I was a morning person. I was a 5 a.m.er, but I saw you and I was like, okay, this is like a whole new level. Like this is like two levels above. Like 3:30 is crazy.
Yeah, I loved it. I miss it. I don't do it anymore, obviously, because like I
Yeah.
don't. It's like, why would I do that to
Yeah.
myself? I
Yeah.
get 8 hours of sleep now, like very like it's my 8 hours, balance the hormones, everything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3:30. Well, I've always been like a morning person. Like even when I was younger, my dad would always wake up early. So like I would wake up early with him and I liked being up early. It was fun when like it was still dark out and stuff. So I've always been like a morning person. And
Yeah.
I've never really like I was never like a sleeper inner person. I've slept past like 10, like maybe twice in my life. Like
Same. I hate it. Do you hate it? I'm like, oh, my whole day's gone.
I'm just always up when the sun comes up. Like I naturally just wake up early, so it was never like hard for me. I know some people are like big sleeper inners and like
Yeah.
girls do your thing. Like it was more easy for me because I didn't have that natural urge to sleep that late.
Yeah.
But I in college I actually started was when I started like working out. I've been like I've been in sports. I started soccer when I was 5, played
Okay.
soccer through 10th grade, and then I did cheerleading 7th grade till my senior year.
Mhm.
And so always in sports. When I wasn't playing soccer, I was playing indoor soccer in the winter. Like
Yeah.
I was all year round, I was doing stuff. So I always had been active. And then when I graduated, I was like, wait, like I gotta do like on my own now. Like I gotta go to the gym and stuff. So I started going to the gym in like probably 2017 when I was a freshman in college.
Mhm.
And I actually started with there were 5:45 a.m. spin classes at my gym.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh, let me try this one day, 5:45 a.m. I don't know why I like wanted to go. I don't remember what like the catalyst was for that, but I went to the 5:45 a.m. spin class and I was like, wait, this is fun. And I just started going to spin classes all the time. So I would go to the, wake up at
Yeah.
5:45. I would do what like weight workouts after. And then this actually, I told this story before, but this isn't like the reason that I wake up early, but like this definitely helped me. I remember it. It's just a funny story. Like there was this guy at my gym and he was like cute. He was my gym crush, if you will.
Yeah.
And he would go at like 5 a.m. every day. And so I was like, I can't let him think that I'm lazy. Like I gotta get there so I can see him and so I can be like, yeah, like I'm here too. Like
Yeah.
I don't like he would never miss a day. Like the dude was there every day, and I was like, I gotta be there for my gym crush and like make sure he knows that I'm like not slacking. And so
Yeah.
I remember that like I would go and like that obviously like helped me
I
because I was
love
like
it.
in high school. Like I had perfect attendance in high school because I had to see my crushes.
I
Like
love it. Yeah.
like,
Yeah. No, I've been there. I literally have changed my gym like schedule to accommodate for like a guy I was like crushing on. I'm like, oh, I know when he goes to the gym because they're so religious with the time that they go. It is like to a T. And I'm like, all right, I guess I'll rearrange my schedule and show up.
find a gym crush that goes at 5 a.m. and then you'll want to go because you want to go see him.
So
And
true.
they had never talked to him. Anyways, but he had no idea that he motivated me so much to get there at 5 a.m. every day.
And look at you now.
Yeah, no, seriously, he was like literally at the beginning of that. But so I was waking up at 5 a.m. pretty much all of college, like I went to a commuter school. I
Mhm.
didn't go to school. I wasn't partying, drinking. I was usually the DD. I wasn't like a sorority and stuff, but like I drink a little bit, like sometimes,
Yeah.
but I was mostly the DD and
Mhm.
I never really went out and stuff like that. So I was waking up at 5 a.m. All of college pretty much. And then when I started my corporate job in the beginning of 2021 is when I started doing like the 4 a.m. and then it got pushed to 3 a.m. because like in college, obviously you have, Monday, Wednesday, Friday classes, your class starts at 10, it's like more, you have like breaks and stuff. It's
Yeah.
not like 9 to 5.
Mhm.
So it was like more chill in college. But then when I started my job, I remember I didn't know what I was going to do. Like the first couple of weeks, I was like, okay, do I go to the gym after? Do I go to the gym? I was like, I'm going to
Yeah.
figure this out. Like, what am I going to do? And I remember after my first day of work, I was like, whoa, like this is going to like if I don't like take control of my day, like this is going to consume me. Like the 9 to 5 life, like this is tough. Like I need to take time for myself or else like my whole life is going to be work.
Yeah.
I realized that like the first week at my job, and I was like, okay, like I think we had to be there at like 8:30 in the morning. So, and I was like I would do my hair and makeup like for work and
Yeah.
stuff. So I need to get ready too. So I think I just started waking up at 4, and like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I would go to the gym. And then Tuesday, Thursday, I would still wake up at 4 and I would do like my YouTube videos. I would film and edit YouTube videos at like 6 a.m. before work. Like, and it really just helped me like and I felt so good because it's like you have a whole day before you go into work, and like
Yeah.
that's about it. Like if you're working a corporate job like that, you need time to like set aside for yourself, or else like your life is going to be like miserable like with this
Yeah.
corporate, especially if it's like not fulfilling to you and stuff. Like you need to take that time for yourself.
Yeah.
And yeah, I moved it up to 3:30, I think, and I started like journal. I would journal in the morning. I started like reading in the morning. Reading was so nice in the morning because it would like allow you to like disconnect a little bit and like get into like a a fiction book or whatever and not have to think about all this stuff. And I would go to the gym, obviously, and that's kind of when it started. And I remember I also lived at home at the time too, and I never really had a lot of time to myself because like I was always at work. People, I had my job was like in office every single day, like it wasn't remote. And then I lived with like my family members, and again, like I have like a divorced family, so my mom like had a new husband, and like so it was like I had like a mixed kind of blended
Yeah.
family.
Yeah.
There were always people around, and I wasn't like, oh, and I wanted time to myself, and I was like, okay, like when can I get this time to myself, like to pretend like I'm the only one in this house and
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
alone. And I was like, well, like I have to wake up before everyone. Like I remember like they would wake up at like 6. So I was like, I gotta wake up earlier. And I would just take that time for myself. I would like journal, like plan out my videos, like plan out my goals and stuff like that. And it was just like and it was like this, it was dark outside, and it was just like so nice to have that time for myself. And I just really, really enjoyed it, and I really, really loved it. And that's why I kept doing it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I did that for years. I think, yeah, 3 years. And now it got me, here.
Absolutely. No, I think like too, that takes so much one, like self-awareness to like know what you need. Because I think a lot of people like don't even know that's what they need. They need their alone time. They still need their, routine outside of work because it is consuming. Even like working for myself, working from home, sometimes I'm like, wow, like I haven't even went to the grocery store. I haven't even like done these things that I need to do to function. And so that is, I think, like the way to still enjoy your life, especially like you said, if you don't have like a fulfilling job, you still need to be fulfilled in some sort. So the way you were able to do that in the morning, I think it's great. I think it's probably different for everyone. Like maybe they're a night person, but like for me personally, I'm exhausted by the end of the day. I'm like, I want to check out and do nothing and just like I don't want to go to the gym at 5 p.m. Like even now, I'm like, it's my job. And I'm like, no, if I don't go before like noon, it's just game over. Like I don't like it. So I think that's so good that you were aware of that. And I think that's a really good tip for people who maybe do work a 9 to 5 and are like losing themselves. Like take time and like budget that time for yourself. Maybe it is in the morning and it might take a sacrifice waking up early, but again, too, I'm curious, like, what's your biggest tip on becoming a morning person? I know you said you've always kind of been, but do you have any tips for people who may not be a morning person who want to become a morning person? Maybe not 3:30 a.m., but like a 6 a.m., a 5 a.m. Like, how do you think you can make that attainable?
Yeah, I think, yeah, if you want to take that time like after work to even on like your lunch break, like make your
Yeah.
lunch break, like take that time whenever. You don't have to. I think, the whole 5 a.m. thing is very like, trendy and TikTok, like buzzword almost. It's like you don't, if that doesn't resonate with you, you don't have to do that. It's not, for everyone. Like don't feel bad, like, oh, well, everyone's doing it, so I have to do it. You don't
Yeah.
have to. It's not like the necessary thing for success. But I think something that really like helped me, I used to have this quote on my mirror, and it said, purpose is an incredible alarm clock. And it's like when you have
Oh,
like a
yes.
and like to get up in the morning, like I have to go to the gym, I have to do this and this, I want my time to journal, I want my time to read, I want to have my time to do this stuff, I want to not be rushed in the morning. And it's like it wakes you up automatically. You're like, yeah, like, I got to get up, like let's go, and like
Yeah.
that really like me. And also I always say this too, like choose your hard. Like
Yes.
I think, did you say that on podcast before? Maybe I heard.
I do. I say that a lot because that was my thing with running. I'm like, it's either going to be hard to physically run or it's going to be hard, like consequences of like not moving my body and not doing the run and the mental like toll it takes on me when I'm not pushing myself. So yeah, I'm a big advocate for choose your heart. I love that.
And that like I feel like that just puts it into perspective. It's like like when you wake up, late and you're rushing to work and you're like so drained because you haven't done anything, you didn't eat a good breakfast, you didn't, wake up and drink water, make your bed. That's hard going through your day like that. Like that sucks when you wake up late and you're all scrambled. That's awful. It's also hard to wake up at 5 a.m., go to the gym, do your stuff. That's hard too, but both ways are hard. Like the
Yeah.
one you're feeling good, you're feeling confident, you're like, yeah, I can do whatever, I can do anything I can. And then the other side, it's like, oh, like I feel bad about myself.
Yeah.
I need to get myself together. I need to get like they both are hard. So pick which one you
Hmm.
choose your hard.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, like a good perspective to put it in.
No, I love that perspective because I think life is all about perspective too. And it's like you said, it's going to be hard regardless. So really like weigh the pros and the cons. And if getting up is the hardest thing rather than having to rush through your morning, be stressed, be questioning all day, like when you're going to get things done. And, I feel like it just makes your mind so messy I'm a very big routine person. I like schedules. Like I schedule my day out like hour to hour, minute to minute because I like that structure and I like that. I don't know, it makes me feel more accomplished too. It's just how I function. Um, but I know you're a big routine girl. I know you're big on routines. What is like a non-negotiable in your routine? Like what's like a tip, a habit, something you've implemented into your morning routine that's like been a game changer?
Yeah, so I love a morning routine. I don't like my night routine is kind of like it's not as structured, but my mornings are like very
Yeah,
like I think this is like my one of my favorite tips for anyone is like have something in the morning. Like I drink like my morning bevy, I call it like my
yeah,
morning. So I wake up and I have my probiotic and I have like my it's I usually do like lemon water. I'll do like green tea sometimes, my caffeinated green, something like that. Having like something that you wake up and you immediately put something into your body that's good for it and like that's
yeah,
like healing your body for your gut, for your, everything like hydrating your body, whatever it is, if it's electrolytes, if it's just lemon water, if it's a tea, anything. But like I used to wake up when I worked my corporate job, I would wake up and I would literally drink a Celsius. And I'm like,
yeah.
that was not a good morning, Debbie.
I
Like
used to do that too.
that's not good. So I would say like definitely like wake up and put something good into your body. I've been like making my bed every single day since I remember it was my New Year's resolution in 2017. And I've done it every single day since 2017. I
Wow.
day. So like starting small with something like that is really good too for starting out. Also in my mornings, this is like something like that I cannot go without is journaling or like just taking some type of time
Yeah,
to like focus on myself. Like I just sit on the couch, I'll journal. I always do gratitude, my gratitude goals and affirmations for the day. I That's
I
another
love
thing like
that.
goals because I'm very like if I when someone asks you your favorite movie and you're like and
Yeah.
like you've never seen a movie in your life but it's like no, like I have favorite movies but I just can't think of it in the moment.
Yes.
Like, that's how I am with my like goals and stuff. Like I will if it's not right in front, I have my goals on my whiteboard, I have them in my vision boards, I write them down every day. Like I have to have them everywhere or else I will forget. I'm like, oh, I forgot that I like wanted to do that like my whole
Yeah.
entire life. And
Yeah.
so I write down my goals. They can be like weekly goals, monthly, or like my whole life, like 50 years from now goals.
Yeah.
I write those down every day. And it just reminds me of like my purpose
Yeah.
in life. And like, it's like, why did I wake up today? Cause I was like, if you like struggle with stuff like that, like, what's my purpose? Like,
Yeah.
what's
Yeah.
I felt like that before where it's like I'm waking up and it's like, what am I doing with my life? It's really helpful to like write down gratitude and goals just to keep your mind on track. So definitely, and I love reading in the morning too. I don't sometimes like reading is hard because like we all have brain rot now, but I love reading. I have been really good about it. I've only missed like one day this week, but that's also really nice too. I just like waking up and not rushing. Like waking
Yes. Same.
and like waking up, sitting on the couch, relaxing, drinking my beverage, journaling, reading, and like that just like makes you go into your day so much
Yeah.
better. And that's why I would wake up so early. So like it's like I would wake up early, not to like go go go, but to like chill.
To be able to like enjoy your morning and not be rushed and stressed. Yeah.
It to me to like wake up early so I could like hang out
Yeah.
and yeah. So those are like I would definitely say journaling and like having like something healthy to put into your body when you
I
wake
love
up.
that. I love that. I'm the same way. Like I have my morning coffee, I have my morning like supplement drink, and then I do my like Bible study in the morning and it's just like slow and it's nice and I take my time and that's why I get up early too because I'm like I don't want to rush my Bible study. Like that's so important to me and I feel like if I put a time to that, it's not good. And so I'm like I give myself as much time as I need and yeah, I completely agree. Another thing I know that's like a big routine and a big week by week thing for you is like your Trader Joe's Tuesdays, right? And then your Whole Foods Fridays.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. Okay. So one, tell me where that like stemmed from. Do you do that just to stay on routine, to keep like everything restocked? Like I love it because those are like my two favorite stores ever. And every time I'm like, oh, what did she get this week? I love it.
Yeah, so actually the Whole Foods story is kind of another story from like my one of my boyfriends, or I had a boyfriend in
Mhm.
2022, and I was like I was in like back-to-back relationships for like a couple of years. So I always really had a boyfriend. And I remember when I broke up with him, like I was like, "Oh my God," like I was remember telling my friend Paige at work, it was a Friday, and I was like, "This is the first Friday that like I'm not gonna go like see my boyfriend. Like I'm gonna
Yeah,
be at on Friday, literally in my apartment by myself all weekend. And because usually I would hang out with him, obviously.
yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, like Paige, like what am I gonna do? And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go to Whole Foods. And
I
like that's
love it.
how it started. And so
Yeah,
every day, like to save me from like this depression of like I don't have like my boyfriend to like
yeah,
hang with the weekend, I was like, I'm gonna start going to Whole Foods every single Friday. And that's like how it was born. And I just kept it going. And yeah, I do like, and then I added the Trader Joe's Tuesday, like probably like a couple years after that. And I do like it because I'm also very like I like to try to have like no food waste, and like I
yeah,
have to put all my stuff, and like the Tuesday and the Friday it just works perfectly. So there's a
yeah,
couple, nothing goes bad, and it's just perfect. So I love those, and then I also make them into my little vlogs, which I love to do.
yeah.
I've done that every single week. So
I love it. No, that's so smart because that I do need to pick like days to grocery shop, I feel like, because I'll do like a big grocery shop and then I feel like by the end things are getting bad and I haven't eaten them because sometimes my like days will be gone and I'll like eat at my boyfriend's place or I'll like grab food somewhere and I'm like, oh my gosh, these groceries are rotting. But if I like did smaller shops but like twice a week like that, it would probably be so much better for me. So I need to do that. Maybe I'll be inspired by you and start going Tuesdays and Fridays because that's a good break. Okay, what are your favorites? I need to know your favorites from Trader Joe's and Whole Foods because I know you get most of the same stuff, so I'm just excited you try some new stuff. But like, what are your favorites?
I do. I love routines as well in my eating with my food and stuff. I
Yeah.
usually eat some stuff. But I have been trying to switch it up, get some new stuff. It's also good if you do grocery shop twice a week because when you're at the store and you're like, I'm gonna be skinny this week. I don't need that chocolate.
Yes.
Days later, you're like, I'm gonna die if I don't have chocolate. So
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, at least I can go to Trader Joe's and get chocolate at Trader Joe's because I was like turning skinny at Whole Foods on Friday. So I love that when it's like, oh my God, why didn't I buy that? So
Yeah.
that's helpful too if you go twice a week because then you can adhere to your cravings.
Yes.
But Trader Joe's must haves, the cacio pepe puffs. I literally
So
like
good.
I'm on my period and I woke up this morning and I literally had those for breakfast.
I love it. No, you have to sometimes. Like you just have to. They're so good.
Thing that sounds good. I
Yeah.
couldn't. So I had those for breakfast say about 8:45 this morning. So I had some cacio pepe puffs, and then I love the dark chocolate covered cherries as well.
Oh yeah.
Delicioso, absolutely phenomenal. And then from Whole Foods, I would say this might be unpopular, and I know it is, but the tuna wrap. I love tuna. Like I don't
Okay,
know,
I'll have to try that because I also love tuna. I'm a tuna stan. It's good.
at Whole Foods is just delicioso. And then I love like the Nell. I don't know if you ever had these. They're like these healthy, like little, they have 10 grams of protein in them, but they taste like a Reese's cup. And they're called like Nellie's bars.
No, I've never had one, but now I think I need to go and get this after Whole Foods. Oh my goodness.
Commented and told me to try it, and I did,
Yeah.
and I was like, wow, like this is really delicious.
I
And
love it. Okay, wait. I'm actually gonna try those because that's like all my favorite stuff. I feel like we have very similar like palates for food. Like everything you eat, I'm like, yep, that looks good.
when I think of you, I think of like the protein puppy chow thing.
Yes.
Like that's what
Oh,
I think of you. And like that sounds I've never made that before, but that sounds so good. And
it's
then I
so
also love I don't know what that if you heard about that scandal with the better bagels. Have you ever
okay.
had them?
I've never had them, but I've seen them, and I did see something on TikTok about it, but I didn't look into it because I've never had them, so I just like kind of kept going.
Yeah, I love those too. They're at Whole
Yeah.
Foods in the section. They're like it's like 160 calories, like 25 grams of protein
Oh
in a bagel.
wow,
And some people say that they're disgusting. I think they're amazing. I don't know
amazing.
what they're talking about. Like some people are like these are atrocious. I'm like I don't know. Like I think they're good. I'm sorry. Like I don't know. But yeah, apparently like people didn't know if like the company was like going under or whatever, and like all the bagels were like wiped out of shelves at Whole Foods and stuff. But if they're at your Whole Foods, they've been at mine like in low stock, but like those are really good too. The better bagels from Whole
Okay,
Foods.
that sold,
But
sold.
I might be some stuff going on with them. But
Okay, I'm gonna be so sad if I try them and get hooked, and then they're like, I can't get them anymore.
I've been praying for that. I'm just like I've been like please like
We need you, because that would be perfect. 25 grams for a bagel too, and 150 calories. Like that's macro heaven, honestly. Wow. Okay, okay. Um, so okay, I need to get those. What were those things? Nelly bars? Is that what they were called?
in the refrigerated section. Like they're like in a tiny little box at the very top. Like they're like super small. Like you
Oh,
can
I
get
love it. It's probably a small business too. I'd love to try. Okay. I'm trying those. I'm gonna try the bagels, probably a tuna wrap. I just need to go to Whole Foods after this. I'm so excited. Grocery shopping is like my favorite hobby ever. Um, okay, a few more questions before we wrap this up. What is like your current workout routine? Because I know you're into fitness. I know you do like Pilates, which I think is so cute. What do you do for that?
Yes, so I've had like so many like workout eras. Like back in 2017, like I was lifting, I remember like old dudes at the gym, like at 5 in the morning, they would like give me like thumbs up because I was like leg pressing. I'm pretty sure it was either 5 or 6 like 45-pound plates on each side. So like
Oh, you
10
were
or
like a muscle mommy era.
old guys would be like, hey, you look nice. And I'm like I didn't realize how much weight that was. I don't know what, like I don't know even how I could even lift. I think it was just from cheerleading. I don't know
Yeah.
why.
No, I think so. I'm a firm believer that cheer built my like leg strength because I'm like hyper strong and I'm like I didn't like lift until high school, but I wasn't like I just right away was super strong and I do think it's from cheer.
Well, like, it literally just came out of nowhere. And now I can't do that. I can maybe do like 3 plates, but I'm not really in my muscle era anymore.
Yeah.
I remember like I was curling. Like, why was I curling? Like for my biceps, like girl, like I was curling a 60-pound like barbell. And there was like this big, like 40-year-old dude next to me who was like jacked curling a 50. And I was curling a 60. And I was like, Taylor, like, what are you doing? Like, what are you curling a 60-pound barbell for? And I was like, I need to stop this. Like, it was crazy. But so I used to do that like years ago. I was just like kind of doing whatever. I didn't even really realize what I was doing. So I did have that phase of like, lifting really heavy weights. Like I was just like messing around, like doing whatever in the gym. And then I kind of, I was kind of just like in the middle, like I would do some Stairmaster here and there. I would do some incline walks, some weights, some whatever. And then I found Pilates. Like probably, I think it was when I moved into this apartment because I didn't have a gym in my apartment. And dude, like honestly, like I gotta be honest, when you're waking up at 3:30, like going to the gym at 4 in the morning in the winter,
Oh, yeah.
like
No.
that's driving. And my gym was like 15 minutes away. Like it's like, like you know what I mean? Like you need like a little at-home workout sometimes.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? Let me try this because I didn't have a gym membership yet. I had to like get one, and I was like, well, while I find a gym membership, I'll just do this little Pilates video. Like I've never done this. What is this? Oh my God. Like I was like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. And then I started like doing it all the time. I would do it like 3 days a week and I would go to the gym in the winter because again, like the snow and stuff, like I didn't want to drive. So I was like, I'll do this 3 days a week at home and then I'll do the gym. Like I did it Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday at the gym. And then I really liked it. And I started doing my own little Pilates classes now that I do sometimes like on like weekly with my people. I usually only have like 10 people, 10, 15 people there. But it's fun because I feel like I like with again, like with cheer and stuff, like I feel like I know so much about like the body and like working out and stuff. I'm not like a certified, whatever. I maybe like one day that could be in my future, but I just feel like I know so much from working out from so
Yeah.
long. So it's just kind of like, it's not supposed to be like, oh, this is Pilates and this is exactly how you do it. It's just like a fun place for like,
Yeah.
we get to motivate each other. It's like motivating to like work out with other people, and get up in the morning. And a lot of people are like, oh, like that's the reason I wake up at 6 a.m. like for the Pilates class. It's like, it's just something like super fun and chill like that. But so yeah, so now I do like a mixture. I actually, when I had my wisdom teeth out in January, I like couldn't do anything for a
Yeah.
while. It was like I don't know if have you ever had your wisdom teeth out?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like mine was like, I don't know, it was like bad. Like I like it took so long to recover. So I just started walking at the gym like while I was recovering. And I was like, wait, like this kind of slays. And I was like, walking like 3 to 4 miles a day every single day. And I've literally done that like pretty much almost every day since like February when I started doing that.
Oh.
And then in the summer, I was doing it outside, of course, and that was so much fun. Now it's like getting colder again. So I'm like dreading the days when like I'm like in the gym every day instead of being outside. But it's gonna come again. But then, that's the beauty of the season. It's like you appreciate it and then you
Yep.
don't have it. That's why it's beautiful. But so I've just been really like this year, I've been like walking a lot, like 3 to 4 miles a day. Sometimes I'll do like if I'm like in a rush, I'll do like a 12 through 30, like higher incline, like
Mhm.
slower or like less time,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I sprinkle in some like Pilates, like maybe twice a week, and then I'll do like weightlifting like twice a week too, like light though, like nothing
Yeah.
crazy. Because like I have like bad knees from cheer, like I could never like squat a heavy or anything like that. So I'll just do like light weights, like nothing too crazy, and then I usually just walk every day. So that's been like the current workout vibe.
Yeah, I love it. I'm like so into walking too. Like I walk with a friend twice a week and we walk like 4 miles because we'll just sit and chat and it goes by so fast. And I'm like, wow, like that was all my steps for the day. I'm like, that's so good to like get such a good head start on the day. And it's like therapeutic. I'm like, sometimes I go to the gym and I put on a little like Netflix show and I just walk and I just like drown out the world or you listen to a podcast. It's like I love it. I'm obsessed with walking. So I'm glad you're on the walking train. I feel like that's like the new thing because it's so good on our bodies, like so low impact. Same with
Yeah.
Pilates. Like I've needed to kind of incorporate that into my routine too because I was like very high intensity. Like I've been running a ton and stuff, but it was just so taxing that I'm like, and I've like been dabbling in high rocks, and if I continue to do that, I'm like, I still need to supplement with like low intensity stuff because I'm like, it's so much on like a female body to just be like intense all the time.
Yes. And I felt like I was very like puffy,
Yeah,
like
inflamed for sure.
so that
Oh, I
definitely
know.
walking too, like if you're trying to like get into the gym, like it's such a good thing. Like I tell myself sometimes, it's like Taylor, go to the gym and all you have to do is walk for 30 minutes. That's all you have to do. Just get there. And then like usually while you're on the treadmill, you're like, well, I'm already here. I might as well go do
Yeah.
some abs. Well, I feel really good. I might as well, like that looks fun today. Maybe I will lift some weights. And it's like walking is just such an easy like motivator. Like I tell myself that every day, like go to the gym, you just have to walk, you don't have to do anything else. And then like 90% of the time I end up doing more.
Yeah.
So like just set that's I love like setting a small goal, like
Yes.
to
I'm
like
huge
get
for that
you
too.
going. Like
Hmm.
you need to have like a small goal to like catalyst it, and then like it'll like you'll end up like eventually doing more and like
Exactly. Exactly. I do that same thing even with running. I'm like, just go for 1 mile. I'm like, give yourself 10 minutes. And if like you're not feeling it, you're over it, you're not getting like into the run, just call it quits. But I'm like, at least try and like see. But now that's my other thing too is walking. Anytime I'm like tired or I'm like not feeling the gym, I'm like, just go on a walk, get outside. And that always motivates me. It gets the blood flowing. I'm like, I'm ready. I get my best thoughts on my walks, my best like brainstorming moments, like all my business ideas is like on a walk. I'll be like voice memoing people. I'm like, and, like they hear cars, and I'm like, sorry, I'm on my walk, but this is
yeah.
like my moment. I'm like, this is where it comes. But
Like also with that is I always say this too is like an object in motion stays in motion, like
yeah,
Newton's law. Even with like cleaning and stuff, if you just like, okay, Taylor, just wipe down the kitchen counter, okay, you wipe down, and then all of a sudden you're like scrubbing the shower, and I'm
yes,
like you get on like a cleaning rampage, like you just have to like start. Like I just think you have to like some people I feel like try to be like, all right, like it's like a New Year's thing, like
yeah,
New Year, I'm gonna wake up at 5, I'm gonna run, run a
yeah.
marathon, whatever, like something like you would do, like and like not saying that you that was bad.
Sorry.
Like I'm just saying, like I admire you for running. I would absolutely never in my life do that, but that's like so slay for you. Like people want to like overhaul their life. They'll get like a spark of motivation, maybe
Yeah,
like they're in their follicular phase and they're like, oh my
yeah,
God, everything. And it's like, that's just like, I would never advise someone to like do that. Like for me, like, I obviously have like a very big morning routine now, but
yeah.
I started, like back in 2017, my New Year's goal was to make my bed every day and to drink a glass of water. And like, that's where I started with those two, like those, making your bed and glass of water. Those are the easiest things ever. And like, that's where I started. And 6 years later, it took a long time, but like 6 years later, like here I am, and it's like built into something, and it's like you just have to do it very small. And like people don't like, doing things like they
Mhm.
want the instant like
Yeah.
gratification, but it's like it really like the slowness of it and like the journey of it is
Yes.
beautiful.
I agree. No, I agree that it's like in so many assets of life too. Like I even talk about that in dating. I'm like, take it slow. I'm like small steps, like build the relationship, build the foundation, but it like goes the same for goals. And it's like if you want to be here, you have to be disciplined enough to like not get the instant gratification, the instant results, and to really earn it. Like that's where the earn and the burn comes from, I always say. And like the journey is like the most beautiful part. Even for like running, like the race day is like so much fun, but like my favorite part is the journey and like the discipline and the things you learn along the way. That's where all the richness comes from. So if you just like skip over that, you lose a lot of like the beauty that what you have now 6 years later. And it's hard though. Like that isn't an easy thing to do, but that's why it's so worth having because hard things don't come easy, but people don't love that. I mean, doing hard things isn't easy. It's like it's hard. So I understand, but through our own experiences, it's like trust us when we say start small and make
Yeah.
it simple, make it easy. Like you said, just going for a walk or making your bed. Like it doesn't have to be these huge things or wiping on your counters. I love the mini goals. I do the same thing with cleaning. I'm like, okay, just do your laundry. And the next thing you know, I'm like, well, I might as well pick up my kitchen or my living room. I start doing all the other things, but it's like the best feeling ever.
You just got to get started with something small. Yeah. And I always say too, like people like I think of it like this way, like I always say this too, like discipline is self-care.
Yeah.
People think like when you think of self-care, it's like, oh, I'm gonna like, stay up later, go out and drink, or like stuff like that's like, and that's like the instant like, laying on the couch and watching a movie or whatever. Like that's like the instant gratification. It's like, oh, this is self-care, but like really like discipline is self-care. Like waking up in the morning, going to the gym, whatever it is that you do, like taking time for yourself, like that is like where, because I feel like that builds confidence so much. Like anyone that's
Absolutely.
lacking confidence, I always say like make small promises to yourself and like go and do it. Like say tomorrow I'm gonna do this, wake up and go and do it. And like that is like that's gonna build your confidence so much. You're like, whoa, like I said I was gonna do that and I did it. And
Yeah.
like I've just become so much more confident like from that because it's like I've woken up at like I used to wake up at 3:30 in the
Yeah.
morning, like
That's
every
yeah.
day for years. And it's like if I can do that, like if I can do that with no one other than myself like pushing me, like I can do anything. Like I literally feel like I can do anything now. And it just makes you like so confident as a person.
Absolutely. No, I completely agree. It's such a snowball effect too. Like the like you said, the little things and it builds like that evidence in your mind to be like, okay, if I can do that, I can probably do this. Again, I apply that a lot with running. I'm like, oh, I can run a 5K, I could probably run a 10K. 10K turns into a half marathon. And it's like you have to build those baby steps to have that confidence. But it's again to like the consistency to depend on yourself. Because I think it's hard to I feel like we lose like we feel like a lack of control when we don't have discipline in our lives. And I think that's where confidence can waver because it's like you can't trust yourself. And so when you can trust yourself and know you can show up and do what you need to do, like you'll have confidence. And I think that's like again, it's something you probably have to like live and learn. Like it took me probably until like the last few years. Like I always heard Ed Millett say it in his podcast. And I was like, oh yeah. But then it was like until you apply it and you experience it in your lives, I'm like, oh, like that's the truth. Like confidence truly comes from like keeping promises to yourself and showing up for yourself. And again, too, like I even think it's attractive in other people when I see how disciplined and how routine. Like grace is good, like a break every now and then is good. Totally get that. But it's like when someone can show up for themselves with like no exterior motives and they're doing it for themselves, I'm like, that is such an attractive trait and like such a aspiring trait for somebody. I love it. I think that's why I was like so drawn to you because I'm like, she like has the discipline. I'm like, not a lot of people can do that. And that's probably why you were such a standout on TikTok for that because it's like it was consistent. You're posting them every single day. It wasn't like you were just in a phase in an era, because that's a huge thing of people just kind of trendy doing
Right.
things. You can
Right.
do anything for a few weeks, a few months, but it's like you were doing it so consistently for years. And it was like, wow, like this girl is like got it going on. Like she's so disciplined.
Yeah, and like I was doing that way before like TikTok was even a thing and stuff. And I remember like my friend Paige, after that like hair video like went like
Yeah.
viral on TikTok, whatever, I was talking to my friend Paige and I was like, what should I post next? And she was like, you should post like your morning routine. Like you wake up so early, like you should post that. And I was like, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna do it. And I posted the next day and millions of views. Yeah. And I'm glad that you brought up like the thing about like grace to like giving yourself grace. Cause I feel like a lot of people would like kind of like those would be like my I don't really get hate comments, but like hate
Yeah.
comments would be like girl, like take a break. Like it's okay to
Yeah.
take a break. It's like everyone is different, but like I am very like I like the grind. Like I like feed off of that. I love that. And like everyone is different. That's just like how I like to function. But I also saw this quote. I think Kenzie Elizabeth said this in her podcast, and she was like, balance scales go nowhere. And like people say like
Yeah.
live in balance, like you can go to the gym, but you can like, and like I was like in like a drought. Like I had no, I keep bringing up other people's podcasts, but Emma Chamberlain's podcast, she was just talking about this, like having emotional crutches. Like,
Yeah.
some people like smoke or drink or party or use like boys or, relationships as like, or TV shows, binge
Yeah.
watch TV as like an emotional crutch when they're feeling sad, they go and, do those things.
Yeah.
I like I don't have a TV in my apartment. Like
Wow.
I like drained myself of everything. Like I don't, obviously I don't smoke. I don't do
Yeah.
anything like I mean obviously I drink sometimes, but not maybe like once a month. But like I don't do any of that stuff. I don't like go out and stuff. And I literally just like drained myself of all of those like, emotional crutches or like vices, if you will. I would say
Yeah.
my only vice is like a good little like snack, like a
Yeah.
nice like my cacio e pepe puffs on Tuesdays. Like that's like my vice is like a nice little like sweet treat. But like I didn't have those for so long. And I feel like that's what made me like so like strong. And a lot of people would be like, well, like that's crazy, like that's extreme. And people would say like, that balance, it's better to have balance. But I don't know, it's just like nothing great was when you're listening to if you're listening to like a podcast of someone that's like super successful person, they're never like, yeah, on my way to success, I like definitely like slept in every day and I
Yeah.
really like taking care of myself and I was really prioritizing. No, they were like, I was up all night. I couldn't stop. Like, they were like, no success story is built on like, yeah, I like hung out with my friends all the time. It's like,
Yeah.
no, like they were working, they were, grinding for their goals. And it's like, you can obviously do whatever you want. But like, again, like I'm the type, and I feel like you're the type of person
Yeah.
too to do that. And So it's like, yeah, like balance scales go nowhere. And that's just something that I kind of like definitely believe because like I wouldn't be here right now if I hadn't have pushed myself that hard. And it's like I was also thinking on my walks today too, like if you say you're lifting 15-pound weights, like curling 15-pound weights, and you're curling them, like that's great, right? You're working out.
Yeah.
Say you curl those 15-pound weights every day for a year, like did you build any muscle? You know what I mean? It's like you're
Yeah.
curling the same weights every day. You have to challenge yourself. You have to, push
Push
for
past
more,
that threshold. Yeah.
increase the weight. Yeah. And it's like that's great if you can curl 50 pounds. And that's kind of like the balance thing, like your balance, because oh, I curl these weights every day. Like I do 50 pounds every day, but it's like you didn't grow. You
Hmm.
didn't get, bigger, better.
Yeah.
And I just think, yeah, like you can have balance, but I feel like it's better to like push and like
Yeah.
want more, and like push yourself to do because you never know what you can do until you do it. And
Hmm.
like some days, like you don't want, back in the day, like 90% of the days, I did not want to get out of bed at 3 in the
Yeah.
morning. But it's like I still pushed myself. It was a non-negotiable. I had to get up to go to
Hmm.
work, go to the gym and go to work. And it's like when you push past those thoughts of like, oh, I don't want to do this, oh, I can't do this. When you push past that and you prove to yourself and you do it, it's
Hmm.
like, oh my God, like those are the days when you really are proving it to yourself and you really like that's when you really, really grow. And so I
Yeah.
think
Absolutely.
pushing past that is really how you got to get there.
Absolutely. Like they cite like in fitness a lot. A lot of my comparisons are fitness, but it's like there's like the pain cave and it's like once you experience that though, like once you get into the pain cave and you kind of like are in it and you're enduring it, it's not just like a taste, like you're in the pain cave. It is like that key that unlocks and it's like, okay, I am capable of like being uncomfortable. I am capable of being in, this is a physical sense of pain, but like getting up every morning can be like difficult and painful in maybe a different way. But it's like I think pushing past that and experiencing like what's beyond that uncomfortableness is like the key to success because it's like you realize so much of it's in your head, so much of it's mental. Like once you just get started, it's like that's the hardest part is getting started and like just beginning and then it unravels so much. And I always tell people I'm like just start like even on social media. I'm like just make your first post. I'm like you'll wish you would have sooner or I'm like just launch the podcast or just do this thing. I'm like I think a lot of people get scared and they get in their heads and they wait and they kind of are like resistant on it. But it's like if you just get a taste for what you can actually achieve, it's like the floodgates open and everything happens. But I truly feel like that's the key to success is like getting a taste of that uncomfortableness and getting beyond like what you think you're capable of because then the evidence is there. Like you can do things that you think you can't. And yeah.
I
Oh,
was just
wait. I love it. Well, I feel like we're like on the same wavelength of being like, because a lot of people like overhype balance, and I have a hard time because I'm like, yeah, but then I'm like, I don't like I teeter totter because I'm like, okay, that's what you need, but for me, it's like I don't necessarily need that. There might be a certain day where I'm like, okay, chill out a little bit, Chloe, like you're gonna lose your mind, but I'm like, I'm still doing those like things that I need to get done because you got to keep moving the needle forward, and that's like important to me, and that's what keeps me honestly sane compared to like laying on the couch. I'm like, I'll feel worse about myself taking a day and rotting. Like rotting in bed, I could never. I could never because that would set me 10 years back. Like, oh,
no, definitely. I definitely like I always whenever I don't do so or I'm like, oh, I'm gonna take, a day off or I'm not gonna do this day. Like it just makes me feel worse about
yeah,
myself. And
yeah,
again, we're just like wired different. Like not
yeah.
everyone is like that, but like I would rather just get it done and like feel better about myself. Yeah, and make it for a better day.
No, same because it's like a lot of times people will be like making plans and they'll be busy and it'll be like a morning thing. And a lot of people are like, oh, I just like won't work out that day. But I'm like, oh no, I'll just wake up super early and I'll get my workout in. And like that's how I compromise. I'm like, I'll be there. But then in my head, I'm like, okay, we just need to like adapt and pivot and like change the schedule a little bit, rearrange, but like I'll get it done because then I show up as my best self. And that's like the most important thing. Cause I'm like, when I don't get my stuff done, I'm like, I'm just not myself.
Absolutely. I saw this quote today and it was like the key to consistency is like being adaptable. Like
Yeah.
you need like discipline to be consistent, but like not everything is going to go like the same way every single day and like you have to be adaptable. Like if you're busy one day, do a little less of it, do this at a different time or do a little less or switch up like maybe yeah, you have a busy day, do it at home workout instead of driving to the gym, stuff like
Yeah.
that. Like you have to be adaptable and not so like strict with your goals, but it's like strict with your goals, but also be adaptable with them and
Yes.
like ways to like make
Yes.
them work. And so you can still, yeah, like have those
Because it's like
parts.
not an all or nothing mindset. Like you can still make it, you can still get those things done. It just might look a little different every single day. But yeah, I love that. I've never heard that before, but that's like so true. Because That's what I'm learning right now as I'm like getting into a lot of different things and my like days are changing because they're filling up with different meetings and different whatever. I'm like, oh wow, like okay, I actually can get all this done. Like before I was using my whole day and getting half the stuff I'm doing now done, but I'm like, okay, I've learned to like adjust and adapt and kind of reorganize my day. And I'm like, holy cow, I'm capable of double of what I was doing before. And I thought I was grinding back then. And it's like so eye-opening.
That's all. That's like the best. That's gotta be like the best feeling ever.
Yeah,
Like that.
no, it is. Cause yeah, you get the hustle. It's like, it's so fulfilling because it's like, okay, like I really gave it everything today. And like, I just made an episode last week and I'm like, life is too precious to wait. Like, there was a girl from my hometown who passed away and it was like, really like, wow, like it shook me to my core because she was like younger than me and like it came out of nowhere. But I was like, okay, life is so precious. Like, I am going to do the things that I want to do and I'm doing them now. Like, we're hustling every single day. Like, I just have to get everything out of it that I can because I'm like, you just never know. Like, life is way too precious.
Yeah, I was talking to my friend the other day about like he was just saying like, oh, he wanted to like do this new like start this new hobby,
Yeah.
and he was saying like, oh, like when I'm able to quit my job, like then I'll start that hobby. And I'm like, you gotta do like you have to start even if it's just small, like 1 day a week, 1 hour of your week,
Yeah.
start it now. And like because I was just telling him like, what if I was like, oh, I'll make TikToks when I quit my job, like I'll
Yeah.
start a TikTok career when I am able to. I would have never been able to quit my
Yeah.
job if you know what I mean? And I told him that and he was like, oh my God, like he was like, you're so right. And I was like, I know, like you have to not like start it now. Like if you want to do something, like even just the smallest little step, it will catalyst into so much.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. I love it. I love it. So good. I feel like we could keep talking forever, but I don't want to keep you too long. So, okay, you guys. So I think we're going to end it there because I think Tay and I could probably talk forever. Like, I think we could keep this conversation going forever and ever. So maybe I'll just have to have you back on, or I'll have to have you out in Arizona. But thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it so much. Um, yeah, you're just the best. I love this. I feel like people are gonna be so motivated and like they're gonna have their morning routine. I can't wait.
I hope so. Thank you so much.
Yes, yes. Okay, guys. Thank you for listening, and we will chat next week. Bye, guys.
Bye.